afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the War Gallery. My name is Andy, part of the team here at the museum. If we haven't met before, our job basically is to highlight the collection you see behind these glass cases. And we do this in different ways. You might have seen us messing around with swords a little earlier. And on this stage, what we try and do is acting pieces highlighting the effects of conflict or someone being involved in. Where possible, we try and use the words who was ever there and bring that sort of character to life. However, as you go back in history, it becomes more difficult. And so you have other influences. For example, this piece, the Battle of Flodden 1513, was influenced by the marketing department. I'll explain why, really. So marketing came to me a little while ago and said, can you do something about the Tudors? Everyone reads about the Tudors. The kiddies at school do Tudors. Many people love Henry VIII. Can you do the Tudors? Yeah, I can do the Tudors. Great! Can you do something associated with Henry VIII? We've got Henry VIII sort of royal armours through them, something. And they get very excited. Henry VIII, everyone loves Henry VIII, or at least knows the infamous Henry VIII. Yes, I can do something about Henry VIII. Great! Brilliant! Brilliant! Says marketing, getting very enthusiastic. Can you do one of Henry VIII's famous battles? I said Henry VIII wasn't in any battles. Oh, said marketing. I said his army was. Oh, can you do that then? So there we are. There's the inspiration. That. Actually, it's quite interesting for a number of reasons. Battle of Flodden is at the beginning of Henry VIII's reign. It is often called the last medieval battle, even though it's in the Tudor period, because it's the last battle on English soil where the outcome is dictated by traditional weapons, bows, swords, spears, those sort of things. The next battle on British soil is dictated by firearms and cannons. So, sort of, that's one thing. Second thing, Battle of Flodden. What's it about? Well, we'll all go back a bit. I suspect, looking at you, you're all of a high calibre, so you all know your geography and your history. So, you all know, I think, here, that France is really just a county of England. Sometimes the French get very confused about this. Since William the Conqueror, almost every English king also saw themselves as the rightful heir to the throne of France, which is where William the Conqueror came from. So Edward I, Edward III, Henry V, all famously took big armies to reclaim what was naturally theirs. And for hundreds of years, there was a large swathe of France that belonged to the English at that point and was fought. Henry VIII, young thrusting king, saw himself as a new Arthurian leader, wanted to prove that he was a great warrior king as well. So he takes an army over to France to claim the French throne. Okay, so far so good. However, that doesn't explain the Battle of Flodden being England v Scotland. Well, again, bit of history. Apparently, our neighbours, the Irish, the Welsh, the Scots and the French, have all been quite upset with us throughout history. Apparently we always kick off, us English. And so the Scots and the French came up with what was known as a cunning plan by Baldric. And it was basically this: an alliance by which if England attacked France, Scotland was duty-bound to attack England at the same time. If England went north to attack Scotland, then France would cross over the channel and smash into the English coast, away keeping those dogs of war, the English, at bay. Obviously it doesn't work. The English have not been much fussed by the efforts of our neighbours over the years. Any counts in? Scots, Irish, French? Brilliant! Right, carry on with the same. James IV of Scotland was different. He was articulate, intelligent and popular. So, when Henry invades France, old James is able to bring a massive army southward. Now, we're in trouble, we English. I mean, our first team's off playing the European Cup against the French. We don't have an army. So we have to gather another army fairly bleeding quickly. And it's fought by the Earl of Surrey, who's well into his 70s at this point, but still sharp and keen as a fox, really. And he gathers a northern army. So the army is mainly made out of people from Yorkshire. All right, Lancashire, Cheshire, Durham. Are you all from south of the Watford Gap? Anyway, a northern army moves northward, Scots come south and they meet, they clash just outside the small town of Coldstream, if you kind of know Northumbria up there. And obviously, it's called the Battle of Flodden for a reason. It was on Flodden Hill. Actually, modern archaeologists have worked out most of the battle was on the hill next to it, Brankston Hill. But we're not allowed to call it the Battle of Brankston, copyright issues with the pickle company. Memo to me, no light-hearted jokes, tough crowd. Alright, so what I thought I'd do is take on the role of a Lancastrian archer who sort of recently returns from the battle, sits down in this pleasant southern Yorkshire village, as it were, to tell you what happened. I'd like to make it first person, someone who was actually there, but when you get to 1513, very little is written in a way that kind of would work for us. In the early Tudor period, it was either romantic or it was large lists of stuff. So I've taken the archaeological history, and one of the reasons I've done a Lancastrian archer, for example, is I'm not a natural Lancastrian, I am a southerner. But in a small church in Middleton, just outside Manchester, is the very first war memorial, for want of a better word, to the ordinary soldier. So a number of archers are mentioned on a stained glass window, and academics kind of believe that was probably the first, or certainly the first surviving one, of ordinary soldiers being remembered in a battle. So that's part of it. Is there anyone from Lancashire here? Doesn't matter, I'm not going to call you out. I usually apologise for my terrible Lancastrian accent, being southern. But as there's none here, what you're about to hear is one of the finest 16th century Lancastrian accents the world's ever heard. This is faultless. So it's about 6 or 7 minutes of your time. There's a reason there's no doors on here. If you get utterly bored by me or you need to be somewhere else, I genuinely don't mind. However, let's tell the story of the Battle of Flodden as a Lancastrian archer. Oh, dude. I'm here to tell you that we won. Thank you, goodbye. No, I'll give you a bit more. We beat them at the Battle of Flodden Hill, battle against Scots. We fought them and we beat them. All right, I'll move on. Look, your menfolk, they won't be home for a few days more. You see, the Scots have 30. I say 30 brand new cannons. Well, they did have. We have them now. And the old Earl of Surrey, he's over 70, you know, doesn't like the idea of Scots coming back from him. So, your husband, sons, brothers, dads, they have to stay behind to look after him. Give them this thought. They know how to handle themselves, those Yorkshiremen. Rumour has it were a Yorkshire billman who killed the King of Scots. Oh, that's right, he's dead. Along with most of his noblemen. I mean, we should have chased them all the way back to Scotland. But we ran out of supplies, you know, food. That weren't worst of it. No, worst of it. We ran out of beer. I know. And we didn't run out after battle. No, we ran out nearly a week before. See, when you're on beer, life's not so bad, is it? Look, I sit down, tell you how it all began. Now, for me, back end of August, Captain comes along and musters us all up. And I have to say, wasn't exactly looking forward to fighting. But, seeing all my mates from Bolton, Bolton, Lancashire, all together, and they'd give us free beer. We weren't soldiers, no. We were bloody drunkards. And in this rather sensitive state, our Lord Stanley, that's his livery there, he gathers us all together and he starts marching under his banner. I say march, innit? It was more like staggering up with head and such like. Anyway, moving in the same direction. Happily and all, even little boys and girls ran alongside begging to join army, and all this carried on to crest all the Pennines into Yorkshire. Ah, your lands, where we met up the main army. That's Surrey's lot. That's your lot. And I was men from Cheshire, Lancashire, so doesn't take long for the fighting to start. That was the fighting between ourselves. Bit of history on the side of Pennines, Yorkshire, Lancashire. No? What's moved on now? Those days it was different. Still, nice to see officers doing a bit of work for a change, rather than sat on big armour-clad horses and to get off horses and break up all fights. And I don't know whether for all the fighting or the running out of supplies, but suddenly everything is rationed a lot more carefully. In fact, within a few days we became an army of beggars, going through villages begging for nuts, berries, apples, anything we could eat. The weather changed, it started to rain. And I mean rain and rain and rain and rain. It was the middle of an English summer. Who expects to see rain in the middle? All right, wait for it. But this rain was different. It was so much. Some said it were apocalyptic. In other words, others said it were a sign meaning defeat. Fools. You hadn't even seen a Scotsman. Now, all I wanted to do was just fight, get over it, go home. I didn't care much. Until got to Tudor, turned north. And as we go further north, obviously they've been campaigning for some time. And it kind of changes you, because suddenly you'll see the effects of it. Villages utterly destroyed, burnt to the ground, carcasses of animals strewn all over, carcasses of people hanging from trees, burnt flesh. So as you move forward through this, well, I changed. See, I kill, and I'm quite happy to do it. I've done it all my life. I could walk over a battlefield, tread on entrails, flick it, you think it's funny. Don't bother me, none of this. But somehow, seeing it on your own doorstep changes you. So I wanted to kill that day. I wanted to kill Scots. I wanted to kill all of them. The next day, 9th of September, well, there they were, thousands of them, arrayed along Flodden Hill, waiting for me, so I suppose. So quickly, I get my little tin pot, my bow, my quiver, and I get out onto the right flank, just as we cannon fire. And I mean, a lot of Scottish cannon fire. And suddenly, this little child comes running up to us, young lad, and he says, "What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be on the left flank. You're on the wrong side." So, we go from where we were through Vanguard. Now, Vanguard were getting it bad from cannons, bouncing in, and then there was limbs all over. And we come out onto the left flank, just as the Scots realised that the cannons were making lots of noise, but doing little else. So suddenly they charge down the hill into Howard's where we'd been. Howard's men were dressed a bit like me, now Tom, Scots, magnificent, stunning in their armour and in their order, and they come through Howard's men like a dose of salt. No. Have you ever seen a scythe cut down wheat? That's what it were like. They were literally cut down at the ankles. Not a chance. But Surrey, he had a plan. Also, get on top of the hill. Get between Scots and Scotland. The hillside was so wet. What are all the recent rains? Every time we tried to climb up, we just slipped at bottom again. It were embarrassing. So off came our boots, shoes and stockings, and in our bare feet, we used our toes to dip into mud. And what with bowing one hand, other hand like an anchor, holding onto clumps of grass, we pulled ourselves to the top. And when we got to the top, Don't remember who stood next to me, don't remember much. Just remember doing the same as others, drawing back my bow and loosing the arrows. Now for me, I can shoot 13, 14 arrows a minute. Basically it means at 200 yards, as first arrow comes down the top of the Scotsman, I've already loosed 4 more, and they're all in there and they're all coming this way. Some say there could have been as many as 16,000 arrows in the air at any time landing down on top of those Scots. But those Scots were brave. They put their shoulder to it, get coming. So we kept shooting and loosing. In fact, slightly embarrassing. I shot all my arrows. Hadn't out left. And then something thud behind me. Some beggar had shot my back. So I'm looking out at the mud. Oh, look at that. Can you see the head on that one? Can you make it out? Broadhead. Nice folks like yourselves probably call this one swallowtail. Me, my work, I call this one a flesh cutter. Now Scots were less than 70 yards away and they were this big Scottish knight, armour. However, he had his visor up and his bever down, his face were open, shouting orders and such. Now, 70 yards, me, I can shoot the eye out of a sparrow on its wing at 70 yards. This for easy. So I drew back my bow and I aimed just underneath his chin. And I loosed the arrow away, went through his throat, out back his spine, dropped him like a stone. I thought, that's for the people back in Durham! I mean, I don't feel quite so big now. I mean, it weren't him who did it. Did trick though, Scots started to waver with their attack, going backwards and forwards. And in the middle of the motion of this noise and shouting, I looked round and there's this young child, a boy, 9, 10 years of age, maybe 11. And the cheeky beggar was just sat against a tree stump, looking over at battle. I thought, right, and I was about to grab him by that scruff of neck, throw back where he came. He was probably being upstairs out. But the thing is, you see, for youngsters, sometimes they want to be with their dad. Think they're all grown up. I can see what had happened to this one. Because he weren't sitting, he was slumped. I can see what had happened, where he dragged himself, and I can see the broken shaft. And the rest of the spear had gone in under his armpit and coming out back at the neck. And he were in terrible pain. I thought, well, Scots will be here soon. Probably best I do this. Now, since I come back from battle, everyone asks the same question. They say, what do you remember at battle? Are you a Richmond? Did you kill anyone famous? What do you remember at battle? They say, oh, wide-eyed enthusiast. If you'd ever been in a battle, you'd never ask. Ever. And I'll tell you what I remember. I remember a stupid child who got too close. And I remember his wet, pathetic eyes as I closed in on him. Pleading. Now, whether you were pleading for me to be on my way or to do it quick because of such pain you were in, I'll never know. All I know is since that child has haunted me. So, apparently, that's what I shall remember of the battle. A stupid child. But then I hear cheering. So I run back to the front of the battle lines, and the Scots are running for their lives. Ha! We'd won! And then the rumours start that the King of Scots has been killed by Yorkshire billmen. Well done, Yorkshire. Although, I have to say, apparently, he was wounded by a Lancastrian archer first. No, it weren't me. So it's a silly beginning. Your husband, son, brothers, dad, they'll be home in a few days more. And to the rest of you, I'm truly sorry for your loss. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. As I said, there's some really good examples of the sort of munitions armour from that basically armour for the ordinary soldier down at the far end of the war gallery. And if you want to see those royal armours, well, they're through in the tournament gallery. If you want to come and ask me any questions, please do. If you want a sort of uplifting story of all things nautical, there's things about pirates again at 2 o'clock. Cracking story. So enjoy the collection and enjoy your stay. And again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.